If you're interested in growing and scaling your consulting business to the next level with more profit, productization may be the best model for you. Productization offers many benefits, but it's not for everyone. So let's get into it. So what is productization? Well, productization is where you take your consulting services and you clearly define them. You think about them from one stage to the next. You kind of break them down into steps. Imagine that you have a very clearly laid out visual of here's what you do first, here's what you do second, here's what you do third, so on and so forth. And so productization essentially takes all the different custom variables that you might provide in a custom consulting engagement, and it removes a lot of those custom elements to really provide a repeatable process and system that you can run for all clients that come into that productized offer. To make a clear distinction between a productized consulting offer and a custom consulting engagement or consulting offer, think about it in terms of Pareto's principle, right? The 80-20 kind of rule. A custom engagement in general will have about 80% of what you do being custom, meaning that you need to maybe create a new approach. You need to develop new materials. You don't necessarily have all of the frameworks and all of the materials or what goes into making that a successful engagement. A lot of that is custom, and that's because the situation of each client you work with might be quite different. They might be coming from a different industry. They might be coming from, or they might be a different size organization. They might be at a different stage. You might be providing a different type of service to them. Now, a productized offer, on the other hand, is where you flip that. 20% of what you provide might be customized to that specific client and their situation. But in general, about 80% of what you provide will be the same thing for them as the next client and the next client and the next client that comes into that productized offer. And so when you think about productization, what you really want to get clear on is who is your ideal client. The clearer you are about that, the easier it will be for you to develop an offer, a productized offer that is, that really helps them, that provides great value for them, that is the right offer, it is the right program, it is the right solution for that type of person in a specific type of organization that has a very specific type of problem and is looking for a specific kind of result. And so you can see that through this process, what you're doing is you are removing a lot of the custom variables, and you need to become very clear about how you communicate who this is for, what problem it solves, and what result it creates. So let's talk about why productization is so great. Well, the first thing is that it allows you to become a master in one area, right? When you are doing something over and over and over again, you tend to get better at it, right? Practice makes you work towards becoming perfect. And the kind of image that I often share with clients is if you think about the Japanese swordsmith, right? That blacksmith, the one that is taking steel and pounding it over and over and over again. You know, many of the best sword makers in Japan, they would make swords, and they would do that over and over again. That is what they became exceptional at and known for. They weren't making other types of tools, or they weren't really diversifying, right, and customizing. They just did one thing and became the best at it, and that's why the katana, as it's known, the long Japanese sword, could essentially cut through anything, right? It was honed and made exceptionally well. Productization is very similar. The goal is to master one specific area, become a master at solving one specific type of problem, to become known for creating exceptional results in one area. Another benefit of productization is that it tends to lead to higher profits. Because there is less customization in the process and in the delivery of a productized offer, that tends to bring down your overall expenses, right? When you are doing one thing over and over, there's a body of work, right? There's IP, there is maybe your framework or a system or a process or a software or an automation. Everything that goes into delivering the result that you desire for your client, usually there's a lot that you can reuse within that, right? So back to the 80-20 concept I just mentioned a moment ago, 80% of what you're providing is going to be the same from one client to the next, which means that you don't have to reinvent the wheel each time. It means that you don't have to spend time creating new materials all the time because you're reusing something that you know already works exceptionally well to solve a specific problem and to create a specific result. That tends to lead to higher profits because there's less time required, less involvement required to deliver, right? Therefore, increasing the margin of your project and increasing your profits on the projects that you are taking on. Now, the other benefit of productization is that because you are running through or you're delivering a process that is repeatable, it means that you can develop an SOP or multiple SOPs, standard operating procedures, that essentially guide and explain what the steps are from one to the next. And so when you have that, it means that you as the founder of your firm don't actually have to be the one to deliver or to take a client through that engagement, because it's very clear, one step to the next. What do you need to do? So now it means that you can actually build or bring on team members in a much easier way, because if you were to bring on, let's say, a team member and you were providing still custom engagements, that would generally require a much more seasoned, higher level team member who has the knowledge and has the experience and the expertise and has the mindset to think very strategically to solve those more complex custom problems. But with productization, you're not trying to solve all kinds of different problems. You're very clear about what specific problem you are solving for and what result you need to create and what process you need to take the client through to go from having that problem to actually achieving the result that they want. And so that allows you to develop training materials because they're standardized, and then to have other people other than yourself actually taking clients through that. And so when you think about the idea of how to scale, how to grow a consulting business, there's a reason that productization, either completely, meaning that the whole business is productized, that is the main model, or aspects of the consulting firm, in many cases, many aspects, right, or many specific kind of services are productized, because it scales and allows you to grow at higher profit levels compared to other consulting business models. Now, if you're enjoying this video, you'll love all the other videos that we put out on our YouTube channel. Go ahead right now, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button somewhere around this video, and be sure to also click on the little bell icon, which will then notify you when we publish a new interview or a new video filled with best practices to help you to grow your consulting business. All right, so let's talk about productization and when is the right time to productize your consulting services. You might remember at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that productization is not right for everybody, and I truly believe that, and here's why. Productization doesn't work very well when you are brand new to consulting. And the reason for that is that in order to productize, in order to know what to productize, you need experience. You need to actually have experience working on ideally multiple client projects, because when you work on those projects, you will start to identify what are you really good at? What do you enjoy? And likewise, what do you not enjoy? What can you deliver exceptionally well? What can you deliver at a higher profit margin, right? And higher levels of profit? What do your clients, what does the market actually have the most demand for? And so if you can't answer those questions, then it's gonna be very hard to productize, right? Somebody who's brand new to consulting says, yes, I've heard about productization, I wanna develop a productized model, but if they don't actually know what the market wants, if they don't actually know what they're good at delivering, where they can create exceptional results, if they don't know, what is gonna be profitable for them, it's gonna be very challenging for them to create a productized model that will be successful. And so that's why usually you want to have some experience under your belt, working with clients, delivering, being able to answer those questions. That's the right time to consider whether you should productize. All right, so next we should talk about how do you actually promote a productized offer. So you've maybe got to the place where you're thinking, yeah, this makes sense for me. I'm at a stage in my business where I can answer some of those questions that I just referenced, and I can see a lot of benefits of productizing. I have developed, I've honed in on where I can create the most value, where the biggest problem is. I know what the market wants, or at least have a sense of what the market wants. And I have that experience, I have that expertise. And so I've now defined what the steps are that I need to go from solving that problem to creating the result that the market wants. And maybe I've also decided the pricing around it. And I should actually mention, I wasn't gonna go into this in detail, but I'm sure it's gonna be a question that comes up. How do you price a productized offer? And I can tell you from working with literally hundreds of consultants personally and through Consulting Success, we've worked with thousands of consultants all around the world in many different industries. Productized offers can range from anything from a few $1,000s to literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's many different ways to structure these offers. And if that's something that you'd like help with to make sure that you don't leave a lot of money on the table, go ahead and reach out to us at consultingsuccess.com. Get in touch and we'll be happy to speak with you about your specific situation and how we can help you. But let's now come back to this idea of how do you actually promote a productized offer. One of the most beautiful things about a productized offer is that it's actually quite simple and straightforward to promote and to talk. And if you hear the word promote and it makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, if it makes you feel like, oh, I don't like to sell, I don't like to talk about what I'm going to do, I would encourage you to shift your mindset, right? Shift your mindset from being about marketing and promotion that is something that you do to somebody. Instead, it's something that you do for somebody. If you can help somebody to achieve the result that they want, to solve a problem they have, they'll be very happy to hear from you. So the nice thing about productization is that it's easy and simple to talk about because you have a very defined offer. If you're talking about a custom solution, there's so many different variables, so many different types of clients and people that could potentially benefit from it. It's harder to just come out and talk about it, right? This is why with a more customized approach, it really is critical to have a more in-depth conversation with buyers, and in some cases multiple conversations to really understand and to ensure that there's a good fit. With productization, you can be very clear from the start and say, if you're having this specific problem and you're this kind of person inside of this kind of organization and you want this kind of result, we have a specific program or system, process or framework, right, for that. And that will push away a lot of the people who that is not a good fit for, but that's okay. Because by definition, what you want with the productized offer is you want to make sure that there's enough demand, as I mentioned earlier, right? People wanting what you have, enough people who have that problem, enough people who desire that result. And so when you talk about promotion regarding a productized offer, the first thing that you can do is you can send an email to people on your email list. And this is not legal or financial advice. I know some places around the world, you're not necessarily able to send an email to people that you don't know. So you'll have to look into that specific situation. But even to people that you do know, you can reach out and say, hi, hope your things are going well. Over the last X number of months or years, we've been working with these kinds of people, helping to solve these kinds of problems, to create these kinds of results. And we've just launched a new program, or we're about to launch a new program to do this. And you describe that in, briefly and say, is this something that you might be interested in? If it is, let me know. Happy to share more information with you. And that's really what we did when we started offering the Consulting Success Clarity Coaching Program many years ago now. We did exactly that. We sent out an email to our email list at that time, which was much smaller than it is today, and we said, here's what we're thinking about doing. We have experience, ourselves of over a decade at that point, building consulting businesses ourselves, having success with that. We've also now worked with many consultants, on a smaller scale at that time, well over a decade ago, and many of them have created tremendous success in their business. And we have more people reaching out to us asking, can we coach them? Can we work more closely with them and help them to scale and grow their consulting businesses? And at that time, we didn't have a solution for that, right? Today, we have the Clarity Coaching Program, but we sent out an email and said, this is what we're thinking about doing. If you're interested, let us know. We'll send you more details and we'll hop on a call and have a conversation with you and see if it's a fit or not. And we got a lot of people who wrote back, said, yeah, I'm very interested, who ended up booking a call. And I remember that within the first week or two of doing that, we had already generated about $40,000 in new sales from people coming into the program. That's the kind of thing that you can do with a productized offer. It can happen relatively quickly, and because it's defined, and as long as you define it, you can see success with it quite quickly. So an email is one way to do it. Social media, generally for most consultants, LinkedIn will be the platform of choice, but there might be others you're using like X or Facebook or Instagram, depending on where your ideal clients actually are. Go on those platforms and you can just talk about what you're doing, what your offer is, who's it for, what problem does it solve, what results does it create, and get people to raise their hand and then have a conversation and enroll them into your program, or provide that offer if you believe that it's a good fit for them, if you're confident that you can help them. This also works with podcasts. It works with speaking. If you ever attended an event where somebody comes up on stage, they give a talk, it's valuable, you believe what they're saying, you feel you can trust them, they have the experience and expertise, and then at the end of that talk, they actually say that they have a program or they have some kind of an offer. In almost all cases, that offer is a productized offer, right? And people might run to the back of the room to sign up for that or to buy whatever it is that they're providing. That is a very classic model in the speaking business that people do. Those are almost always productized offers. And if you have a podcast, right? Or if you're running a YouTube channel, or wherever you are getting in front of your ideal clients, a productized offer is something very easy to talk about because, again, it is defined. And what you will see is in general, and I should say usually, that the more you talk about your productized offer, the more that you put it out there, the more that people know that it exists, the more that people will actually reach out to you because they want to learn about it. They see the value in it. They see how it can help them, because you should be very clear in defining and communicating who it is for. So there you have it. That's a kind of a primer on productizing consulting services. We've done a lot of this kind of work with clients over the years. And so if you're looking to grow and scale your consulting business, go ahead and click on the link somewhere, maybe in the description of this video or somewhere on this page. Get in touch with us. We'd be very happy to jump on a quick call with you, chat about your specific situation, let you know how we can help you if we can. If we can't, we'll also tell you. Just look at how to help you to grow your consulting business.